Fluttershy had not left her cottage in 3 days after returning home. The first thing she did was to collapse on her bed, and the next morning went shopping for food. Since then, she had not moved, and her friends would swing by to cheer her up and convince her to go out. None of them succeeded. Pinkie Pie even threw a welcome home party, but that only brought her into tears. Finally, she emerged from the cottage, but only went as far as her yard, mostly empty, since she left most of her critters go, and the flowers were almost dead from the lack of water. She then watered them and noticed that she was being watched. Her cottage was on the very edge of Everfree Forest, which made her effort not to look at it, but she perched one of the trees, and the very Draconequest was trying to forget what he had done nothing but watch her in the past few days when he was not even sulking. It all even had been close to his mirror now, and it ached to see her, and a close-up was even worse. Why didn't he not torture himself then? He could not stay away from her. He just wished he could just do more than worship her from afar. He just wanted to take her in his arms and apologize for everything and tell her how much he loved her. He then hold her close to his heart with no intention of ever letting go. But he had already done enough. Fluttershy! The sound of Twilight Sparkle's voice, Discord vanished from his hiding place. The alicorn approached the Pegasus friend, carrying a bag of books. Nice to see that you're out and about, she said with a smile. I brought some books that might cheer you up. Thanks, Fluttershy muttered. I don't think reading is going to make me feel better. Well, you have to do something. Maybe all you need is a break to get your mind off of... She did not dare to say it. Anyways, I'm returning to Canterlot tomorrow. You want to come along? She did not take the time to think about it and nodded. The next day, Twilight and Fluttershy and their 4 friends ran to the train in Canterlot. The others had decided to come well for Fluttershy's sake, and it took a while for Rainbow Dash to convince Twilight Sparkle in letting her have a vacation. When she started to going out with Soren, Spitfire had been a little edgy with her, and Spike had to stay in Ponyville to mind the library. Each mare had to engage Fluttershy in the conversation, but she hardly spoke a word. When she said, I'm just a little horse, he just shouted. Rainbow Dash just burst out laughing. I don't get it, said Pinkie Pie. Well, if you tell Soren about it, you think it was funny? Rarity rolled her eyes. I've heard of love being so blind, but deaf? I'm not in love with Soren. We just haven't been hanging out that long. Fluttershy let out a whimper only Applejack could be heard, and because she was stuck in the bunk next to her, she patted the yellow Pegasus on the back. Hang on, sugar, she murmured. We're almost there. Celestia greeted the group at the castle and surprised Fluttershy with a hug. I never had the chance to say thank you, the princess said. What you did was very brave. She did not even ask what she was referring to. Fluttershy remained in her room till dinner, and although she barely ate, as she lifted her fork, the thought of the meal times with Discord that he would always give her what she asked, and surprised her with favorites. She remembered the one time that he made candles dance and Gravy Boat come to life, and the harmless little magic tricks to make her giggle. Somehow he always managed to put a smile on her face, but her lack of appetite did not go unnoticed. You alright, my dear? Celestia inquired. Fluttershy winced. She was used to hearing that question from someone else. I'm just not hungry, that's all. Maybe you should get some rest, Applejack suggested, noticing the dark circles under her eyes. All she did was nod and excused herself from the table. She's been like this ever since she came back, Twilight explained to the princesses. I do not believe you have fully explained your manage to return, Luna said. Well, he let her go. The princesses of the night whined her eyes. Pardon? That's what happened. He just let her go. But why? Twilight shrugged. She won't talk about what happened, and yet we're afraid to ask. Applejack slammed down her fork. Y'all don't get it, do ya? The Sovereign Pony then stomped out of the room. 2 hours later, Fluttershy lay awake in bed, staring at the ceiling. Although she was tired to the bone, she could not sleep. She hadn't got used to Discord coming in to say goodnight and then playing her a lullaby about a week ago. And he had surprised her with a kiss on the forehead. Her mind had been wandered for that night together, and when he kissed her for real, his lips felt so cool and gentle against hers. He would never admit admitting this out loud, but it had been at least the best moment of her life. Despite what he had tried to do to her, she wanted him here. She wanted to feel his arms around her, to be secured in his embrace. She wanted to hear his voice whispering in her ear, comforting her. She missed him. Discord was not getting any sleep either. He tossed and turned on the ceiling at night, but he could not resist. He was thinking of Fluttershy, betting that she was sleeping much more peacefuler now that she no longer had to fear him. All it took was his conjugative power to check in on her. He had to distance himself from the past few days, but he longed to see her and hold her in his arms, and he still lingered. He jumped out of bed and flew slowly to Fluttershy's room. Hadn't touched it since she left, and he considered turning into a bowling alley or a swimming pool, anything to erase any trace of her being there. But how could he? He approached the bed where she once slept, and he could see her laying on her side, her chest rising up and down ever so slightly. He reached out to touch her, only to realize it was just a mirage. She then took the sheets, and then his hands pressed on their face, inhaling with this sweet flowery scent. At that moment, he broke down into tears. "I'm so sorry, Fluttershy. I'm so sorry." The next thing Fluttershy knew was that she was standing in the garden that Discord had given her. She did not remember how it got there, but she immediately began searching for the Draconequus out. "Discord," she called. "Are you there?" She then heard a moan in the distance and ran towards the sound, but it seemed further away with every step she took. She then saw a broken figure laying on its side, and when she got closer, she gasped, "Discord? What happened to you?" The weak Draconequus rolled over and smiled at the sight of her. "Ah, Fluttershy! Know that now that I've seen you again, I can die peacefully." "What? No, you can't die. You're immortal. Everything must die eventually, my dear." "But how? I don't understand." He reached out and touched her face. "Trust me. It's better this way." "No, it can't end like this, Discord." She continued calling his name as he faded, and nothing. Suddenly a familiar figure appeared in front of her. She looked up the ice to meet Princess Luna. "Do not fret, child," she said smokily. "Discord is still alive." "Princess Luna? I saw him, but am I dreaming?" "Indeed you are." "Oh, thank goodness," I thought. "What are you doing here, child?" Fluttershy blinked. "What do you mean? Let me rephrase that. Why are you here and not with Discord?" "I beg your pardon, your highness, but did you not hear? He let me go." "But why did he let you go?" "Well, because, he didn't want me and," Luna scoffed. "Didn't want you? I beg your differ. I saw you two in the forest." Fluttershy gasped and froze. You saw me kiss him?" "No, I saw you dancing." "He kissed you?" The Pegasus shrunk in embarrassment. "I just once. My point is in all these years that I've known Discord, I have never seen him look at any pony the same way he looked at you. It is clear that he cares for you and that you were happy. So what happened?" I said some things I didn't mean, and he got very mad, and she could not go on." Luna pondered. "It seems to me that he was simply hurt, only because of his affections of you." "How could you be sure that's what it was? But why anyone else he would let you go?" Fluttershy was about to answer, then an image rippled, indicating that she was waking up. "Listen to your heart, child," Luna called as she flew out of the dream. She sat up in bed and sighed. "Oh, what am I gonna do?" Discord was in the garden, sitting by the pond, staring at his reflection. "Why are you sulking about?" his image inquired. "You don't need that pony. You got along fine without her before." "I did not know her before," Discord grumbled. "Doesn't matter. You're better off." "Then why do I feel so empty?" "Because you gave up on controlling Equestria. A very stupid thing to do. And by the way, hey, maybe the ponies are so shocked that they're invulnerable enough to attack." He sighed. "What's the point? None of it matters." His reflection was confused. "None of it matters? You're the Lord of Chaos, for crying out loud. You have the powers beyond comprehension, and you're saying that none of it matters?" "None of it." He arose and sniffed. "Not since his image rolled in his eyes. "Well, fine. If you want the girl so bad, then why did you let her go in the first place?" "Because," he gazed up at the starry sky, "I love her." "So steal her back. I don't care. Just quit your moping." "I can't do that. Did you see the way she looked at me? She'll never see me anything but a monster." Then he splashed the water, causing his reflection to ripple, and then buried his face in his hands and sobbed. When Fluttershy came down to the kitchen, she saw Applejack preparing a plate of sandwiches. "What is this déjà vu?" the cowgirl said at once to her friend. "I'm guessing you're down here for the same reason." "Huh?" Fluttershy questioned, tilting her head. "Last time you were down here, you had a dream about Discord." Yes, but why were you there?" "Can't sleep," Applejack said, handling her sandwich. "I've been worried about you, Sugar Cube. You don't eat, you don't sleep, you hardly speak." "I'm just recovering from, that's all." "Well, it's a little more than that." "What do you mean?" "I'll explain later. First, you tell me about your dream." She told Applejack every last detail, including the part where Luna appeared. Applejack nodded as she listened. "So this garden, I saw it that you were at the castle. You're saying Discord made that for you?" Yes, Fluttershy muttered, fiddling with the unsweetened sandwich. That would explain why your critters went off too. And you told the princesses that you and Discord kissed? She hung her head. I'm not trying to pressure you, sugar, but you were with him for a whole month. I just want to know what happened. I promise I won't bring up any of it with the others. She sighed. I was terrified at first. I explained to him I wanted to fall in love before I got married, just to stall for time, but then when he started asking me if I loved him, we then sort of, got to know one another, and he became so kind and gentle and respected my space, and whenever I saw him, I could not help but smile. I miss him. I know I really shouldn't. After the party, he was just very upset. I think it is mostly our fault, hon. I'm the one who put you up to the spot and asked if you loved him. I'm really sorry for that. It's just, you know you have all the symptoms. Even now, blushing, lack of appetite and sleep. Maybe it's not exactly what you think, Fluttershy snapped. Well, maybe it's exactly what I think. How do you know? Because, that's how I felt with the Timberwolf after the Timberwolf incident. The both grew silent, and then Fluttershy dropped her sandwich and looked away. I don't know, Applejack. I miss him, but I don't know if Applejack laid a hoof on her shoulder. Hey, I was in denial too. It took me a while before I realized my feelings. What do you expect me to do? Go back to him? I expect you to follow Princess Luna's advice on what your heart tells you. That you saw what happened? What if he becomes possessive over me again? What if I'm wrong? What if our friendship was all a trick? What if there was just some game to him? You know what they say, Sugar Cube? If you love something, set them free. Fluttershy lifted her head in realization. But he did set me free. She then spun around to face her friend Applejack. Oh, Applejack, can't you see he loves me? He doesn't want me unhappy, so he let me go. Oh, he must be so lonely right now. What if my dream does come true, Applejack? I have to see him. I need to make this right. Look, I'd say listen to your heart, but if you decide to go back and just don't do it for Discord, do it for yourself. Love is just selfish as selfless. Are you going back because he wants you or you want him? Both. I can't deny it anymore. I love him. Despite it all, I love him. Do you hear me? I love him. She then took a deep gasp behind her, and Fluttershy turned to see Pinkie, Twilight, Rainbow Dash, and Rarity all standing near the doorway, their mouths dropped open. How long have you been standing there? Fluttershy stammered. Neither of them said anything for a while, until Pinkie suddenly burst into excitement. Oh my gosh, Fluttershy's in love, and he loves you too. That's so romantic. You know what this calls for? No! Every pony cried in illusion. You mean you're not mad? Fluttershy asked in wonder. Sweetie, we don't know what to think, Rarity explained. We saw how miserable you were for the past few days, and we know why. But what we don't understand is how. How could you have fallen in love with that Draconquest? She then faced her fans definitely. I know it's hard for you to understand, but I find it hard to understand as well. I don't expect you to ever understand. But Discord is not as evil as you may think. He might have been before, but he's changed. Even if you're right, Rainbow said slowly. How do you know he really cares for you? He let me go. What if he just felt guilty or something? Not to be judgmental or anything, but it's a possibility. We just don't want you to get hurt, Rarity added. I don't need your approval, Fluttershy declared. I'm going back to Discord, whatever, you like it or not. We don't like it, Twilight confirmed. We cannot stand you in the clutches of that monster. If he really has changed, like you said, believe me, he has. We cannot let you go on the Everfree Forest alone into the home of the unpredictable Draconquest. Fluttershy hung her head again. Which is why we're coming with you. Her ears perked up. You are? We are, Rainbow Dash said. She cried out as Applejack poked her ribs. Ow! You bet your sweet hooves we are, the cowgirl exclaimed. Oh, this is gonna be fun, Pinkie said, jumping for joy. Rainbow Dash sighed. Oh, what the heck. Some ponies gotta protect ya. We may not understand your feelings for Discord, Twilight explained, but who you stand by out of the way, it's what you think did it right. Right. With that said, Fluttershy smiled at her friends. Thanks, girls. Hold on, Rarity commanded. We're about to be a declaration of a true love. You, on the other hand, my dear, would need to look stunning before this day comes. No offense, Rarity, Fluttershy whispered. It's soft and all, but it's not really appropriate for walking through the forest. Rarity had her dressed in long, flowering green gown and curled her hair. 6 of them were charging through the Everfree forest, Twilight lighting the way with her horn. So you have thought what you were gonna say? Rarity asked Fluttershy, ignoring her comments. What do you mean? Hello, you're about to confess the one you love as well as that you love him. You have to do this by the book. I was just going to apologize for everything I first said to him and then tell him. You sure it's not wise to wait until morning? Applejack inquired. The forest is even more dangerous after dark. The longer we wait, the lonelier he gets. I have to go tell him now before something bad happens. Ooh, Pinkie cried, bouncing up and down. After you tell him, can we celebrate as I found my true love party? Rainbow Dash rolled her eyes. AJ's right. It's not safe out there. Who knows what could be lurking in those trees? I don't care, Fluttershy declared. I need to see him. I will do whatever it takes. Now, and how? Twilight marveled. You've really changed, Fluttershy. How so? For one thing, you're much braver. You haven't stuttered or squealed even once since you entered the forest. The Pegasus pondered and wondered that her friends were right. She had not been the thought of the dangers in the woods until Applejack and Rainbow had brought them up, and she concluded after spending time with a month of Discord, she had to object to her in the nightmares for a long time. She wasn't so afraid of that creature anymore. By the way, Applejack, said Rarity, at dinner, when you said we didn't get it, did you know that Fluttershy was in love? The cowgirl nodded. How? It was pretty obvious. She showed me the signs. But at the party, you said I knew nothing about romance. I'm sorry, I just got upset, that's all. But you do? Applejack blushed. She halted suddenly. You hear that? Really, Applejack? If you didn't want to answer the question, shh, listen. Every pony stopped in their tracks and they heard silent. They heard a loud growl from behind them, then a snap of the twig, and then spun around and saw a yellow pairing of eyes glowing in the distance in the trees. Applejack then took a sniff air and gasped. Run, she muttered. No pony fought twice, and they took off as soon as a pack of Timberwolves leaped out from the trees and pursued to the group. Why is it always Timberwolves? Twilight shouted. Applejack abruptly stopped. Y'all go ahead. I'll lead them off. You mean we'll lead them off? Rainbow exclaimed, flying down to her side. I'm not leaving you hanging. The cowgirl grinned. On my signal, you go left and I go right. She waved the hooves to her and approached the pack. Yeah, big goons, get over here. Yeah, you ain't so tough, Rainbow taunted, blowing a raspberry at them. The wooden beast then roared in anger and sped up. Now, Applejack muttered, the two darted in opposite directions as a few followed for each of them, but three abandoned their pursuit and of the others. Rarity was the first to notice. How many of these things are out there? I mean, why wouldn't I be a Manticore or Ursula Minor? Twilight raved. At least this didn't come in large numbers. Not to mention that Twilight knows the defeat of the Manticore, Pinkie points out, plus a dragon, a bear, a Cerberus, and a cockatrice. That's it, Fluttershy. Have you tamed the Timberwolf? You're kidding, right? The Pegasus squealed in fear here and returning to her. I doubt they're angry because they have their thorns in their paws, and they're made of thorns. Twilight, can't you teleport us out there? Rarity demanded. The Alicorn stopped for a moment. I'll try, but it takes a lot of work. Plus, Rainbow and AJ, we'll come back for them, but we need to save ourselves first. Twilight then closed her eyes and concentrated, and her horn illuminated the light, but with the dime dimmed, she then saw the Timberwolves were only a few feet away. No time. Make a run for it. Meanwhile, Applejack was attempting to shake off the third pack, and the snap of a tree branch, shattering both of them, and they got rid of them by ducking as she pounced. It fell apart as it hit the ground. The last Timberwolf was still after her. Then she saw a pond of quicksand ahead. Faking fast, she grabbed a vine in her mouth and swung it to the other side. The Timberwolf noticed the sand too lake and then sank like a rock. And it did not take long for Rainbow Dash to outrun a chase of her fly. As the wolves said, she was the fastest Pegasus of all Questia. However, she was too busy taunting them, she did not pay any attention to where she was going, then crashed to the side of a mountain, causing some rocks that came tumbling down on herself and the Timberwolves. When she finally crawled out from the rubble, her wing was broken. Darn it! The last three Timberwolves were getting on the four ponies. Hey, I can fly, Twilight exclaimed, taking to the skies. But we can't, Rarity complained. The Alicorn did not get high, though. One of the wolves jumped and snapped at her wing. Twilight cried out in pain as she pummeled to the ground. Twilight broke her fall, but it made them like sitting ducks. Rarity and Fluttershy bolted in the opposite directions. Later reached the dead end, and she was turned around to face the beast, closing on her. She was so terrified that she could not open her wings or use that stare, and she was frozen in place. Discord was in the garden, plucking the petals off of Daisy. She loves me not. Still not loving me. And if she still doesn't love me, she loves me not in a million years. Oh, and she loves me not big surprise. His ears perked up when he heard a familiar high-pitched scream. Fluttershy? He thought of the imagining words when he heard again. Help! It was the common knowledge for that most creatures, but when one's mate is threatened, they will go in protective mode. That's exactly what happened to Discord, as he dropped the flower and gritted his teeth in fury. Fluttershy closed her eyes, waiting for the animal's jaws to sink into her skin. Suddenly, she heard a second growl and opened her eyes to see Discord, down on all fours in front of her. Don't you touch her! The Timberwolf was surprised, but did not let his guard down. He roared the Draconiquest, and he hissed in return. Hey, ugly, why don't you pick on someone your own size? Like a chihuahua! He snapped his fingers, reducing the Timberwolf as the size of a puppy. And then the same happened to the other two, and they were about to pounce on the ponies. And they ran into the forest. Yipping in panic, Fluttershy looked up the Draconiquest on that he returned to her. What are you doing out here in the middle of the night? He demanded. Do you have any idea what would have happened if I hadn't... You saved me, she uttered. Well, of course I did. You think I was able to live with myself if anything happened to you? He was then cut off as the Pegasus flung around his arms and neck and burst into tears. He stared down at her in confusion. Fluttershy, said Ed Applejack's voice. Are you all... She paused when she saw the Draconiquest. Rarity appeared behind her and gawked. Discord rolled his eyes. I know, I shouldn't be here, and blah, 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 and... You just saved our lives, Rarity marveled. Pardon? Applejack uttered. Rainbow Dash came in panting out of the bushes. I ran as fast as I could. My wing was broken, and she stopped at the sight of Fluttershy, embracing Discord. Where are you going at here? Well, he saved our lives, Rarity declared. Say what now? It's true. He shrank the Timberwolves in the size of chihuahuas. Well, I'll be darned, Applejack muttered and wondered. Hey, where are Twilight and Pinky? Rainbow Dash asked, frantically looking all directions. They're injured, exclaimed Rarity. One of the Timberwolves snapped at Twilight's wing and fell on top of Pinky. They can't get up. Fluttershy pulled away from Discord and said, Oh, that's terrible. Discord, could you... Anything for you, the Draconiquest said, snapping his fingers. He was surprised that he did not roll his eyes or complain or anything. The next thing they knew, they were in Fluttershy's old room in the castle. Twilight, Pinky, and Rainbow found themselves sprawling in bed, which they had made their wider for their convenience. What the? Twilight muttered in confusion. Discord? No time to explain, said Fluttershy before turning to Draconiquest. Can you fix them? 1 second, Twilight said. Discord said, making a doctor uniform appear on his body. Now let me see what the damage is, shall we? He then summoned an X-ray machine and examined the bones of 3 ponies. Uh-huh, he muttered, stroking his beard. Well, Rainbow Dash and Twilight Flopple, you have each a broken wing, and Twilight has sprained her hoof, and Pinky has 2 broken ribs. Twilight Flopple, ouch! Don't laugh, it will only increase the pain. He pushed the X-ray away. Now hold still, this won't hurt a bit. With a snap of his fingers, he set the free up. Rainbow slightly nudged at her wing. Hey, you fixed it! Amazing, Twilight marveled. I can't even do healing spells. Can I laugh now? Pinky asked. She did not want an answer to be quoted. Yeah, I think I'm good. Rainbow Dash could not believe it. What else I can say but thanks? You're welcome, Discord said with a grin. And that's all settled? He turned to Fluttershy. Explain to me, what were you doing out there? You could have been killed. Why, if I hadn't heard you... Fluttershy quickly replied. I came to see you. What? He blinked. She then looked at her friends and then looked at Discord's paw. There's something I have to tell you. As soon as they were out of the room, the 5 rushed to the door. Pinky won the battle for the keyhole. You came back? Discord uttered in disbelief. To see me? Fluttershy nodded. Why? I wanted to apologize. Apologize? My dear, if anybody should be apologizing, it's me. I nearly forced you into doing something that you didn't want to do when I hurt you. Not to mention that I have treated you like, how do you put this? Oh yeah, a caged bird. There's nothing for you that you need to apologize for. Oh, but there is. I said some awful things I didn't mean. I could have said those things after you did for me. I'm the monster here, not you. He huffed. Yeah, right. Fluttershy, take a good look at yourself and then at me. I think it's obvious who the monster is. You should quit wasting your time and just go home. You no need to pity me. Oh, but I do pity you. And that's not the reason why I came here. You see, I missed you. He stared at her for a long time, still not believing this. You miss being my prisoner? I miss being your friend, although I did take it that you wanted to be more than that. She suddenly grew very nervous. But before I go on, I must ask you something. Yes? She looked at him directly in the eyes. Do you ever really love me? He choked up. You kept asking me if I loved you, and I wanted to know whatever it was because you wanted me to love you back. Or was it all a game? Was I some trophy to you? No, Fluttershy. You're more than that. Well, did you? He turned his back to her, and his brows sweating and his teeth grinding together. He then pulled at his mane, trying to figure out the words. Yes, he sighed. I will admit in the beginning it was a game. I didn't expect you to come, but when you did, I came up with a scheme. I was trying to make you fall in love with me so you wouldn't use your element against me. And I thought of you as the only insensitive, although you were right. I was lonely. That's the reason I asked for a bride. I spent many years watching happy couples walk up in the sunset. It made me gag, sitting up making kissy faces and holding hooves. But I was only disgusted because I could never have what they have. I was tired of being alone, and I denied this, so even to myself, I invented a scheme to make an excuse for being all gaga over you. But then you started treating me differently, and I became so unfrail that I almost forgot the scheme entirely. I kept telling myself that it was just a slight attraction, but the more time I spent with you, the better I felt. It sounds cheesy, I know. He summoned a piece of cheese on the plate with emphasis. Want some? Fluttershy took a slice of cheddar, and then she continued. Whatever I was to see you, I felt wonderful. Soon I realized I was not trying to please you, but I just wanted a queen, and I wanted to see you happy. I cared about you a whole lot. He chuckled. Love is quite similar to the chaos, but it drives you the craziest things of all. The problem was I cared about you so much that all I wanted you to myself. That's why I did not let you visit my friends. I was afraid of losing you. Even if you did never love me, I wanted you to be with me always. You can guess how upset I was when I heard you say that you did not love me. I lost control. I toyed with your emotions at the end, tricked you into loving me. I just didn't want to lose you. Discord then faced her. I didn't want to lose you, he repeated. But did you? Fluttershy started to speak again. He hung his head. Not everything I said was corrupting you was a lie. I did love you. He then looked at her again. I still do. He got down and seized. Oh, Fluttershy, I love you more than chaos itself. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me. You're precious to me, and I would rather die 1,000 deaths than to see you miserable. And then when I realized how much pain I caused you, I had to release you. Fluttershy was at the verge of tears. Discord, please, let me finish. I had to let you go. I could only bring misery to ponies. Misery to you, and I know even if you did marry me, you would never love me. No matter what you think, no matter what hope I had, I'm still a monster. They locked gaze for a while. Are you done? He looked away. Yes. She then approached him and laid a sympathetic hoof on his shoulder. Discord, you see? I'm miserable without you. He then turned skeptically. You are? She nodded. Why do you think I came back? Out of pity, he guessed. She shook her head. Now it's my turn. I thought you were the monster, and I was more terrified of you than anything else. But that was before I got to know you. You may have done some horrible things, but we all make mistakes. Sure, I sometimes feel like a possession, but you were also kind and giving. You did your best to help me forget my imprisonment and how you looked. I will admit it became harder for me to answer your question each night. I thought I may have feelings for you, but I was scared. You see, I wasn't ready for marriage, but I'm still not. But it would hurt to see you so disappointed. Like I said before, I miss you. I miss seeing you every morning. I miss hearing your voice and missing of your touch. And you've proved to me that you're not all that bad, especially after saving me and my friends. And now that I've met you, I can't imagine a life without you. What I'm trying to say is, she then glanced away and her cheeks turned red. Discord's eyes widened in astonishment. Could this be it? Could this be the moment you've been waiting for? She then looked into his eyes and gave a shy smile. I love you. He said nothing for a while. Fluttershy rubbed his foreleg awkwardly. It's true. It's taken me a long time to realize it, but I do love you. Discord did not waste a moment. He grabbed the pony by his shoulders and fiercely and tenderly pressed his lips against hers. Fluttershy was shocked for a second, but then she closed her eyes and returned the kiss as they both released all the passion they had been holding back for so long. On the other side of the bedroom door, Pinkie gasped dramatically. They're kissing! They're kissing! Gross! Rainbow muttered. I guess we'll have to get used to that, Rarity grumbled. Fluttershy had never felt so happy. As Discord ran his fingers through her hair, she could have sworn that she felt fireworks, and then he broke the kiss, and then looked up to see the exploding stars above them. What? She started to say. Magical reaction, Discord explained quickly. Don't ruin the moment. He then returned to his lips and bent over, caressing her small body. After a while, he pulled away again. Are you sure this is what you want? He asked, moving a strand of hair from her eye. I'm not exactly Prince Charming, you know. Fluttershy nodded. I'm sure, and I don't care. He grinned. You just marry me then, and then you'll be with me always. And you must never leave my... Oh, here I go again. He spoke in a gentler tone. Would you marry me? I promise you can visit your friends wherever you like. She then smiled warmly and gently kissed his snout. I appreciate it, but I told you, I'm not ready for marriage now. But I love you, and you love me. What are you waiting for? I want to make up for all the ponies, all of them. That includes the princesses. I'll show them that you'll use your magic for good instead of evil. I want my friends to see that you make me happy. I thought you didn't care what they thought. I don't, but if they learn to appreciate you, then we can all be happy. I want things to be settled between you and Equestria before we take any big steps. Discord sighed. Well, if that's what you want, I can have one thing to ask you. He rests under his breath. I can't believe I'm doing this. What's happening? Rainbow Dash asked, trying to get the view of the keyhole. Pinky gasped. He's kneeling down. What? Applejack uttered. Already? Hush! Fluttershy whispered, opening the door a crack so they could listen. Fluttershy, Discord admiringly still. Will you? Oh, my stars, Rarity muttered. He's actually doing it. I am going to have to make a wedding dress. Shh! Twilight said again. Be my special some pony. Oh, come on! Pinky swung the door open and the couple. You meanie? We thought you were proposing. I was going to throw an engagement party, and I already planned the decorations and cake and number of guests. Discord cleared his throat. Do you mind? Pinky awkwardly backed away. Oops! Sorry. The Draconequest turned back to his beloved. Well? Fluttershy grinned. What do you think? He cried out for joy when he took her in his arms. Well, just you two leave you two alone then, Applejack said, heading off to the exit. Yeah, Rainbow Dash cringe. We'll just wait wherever you're ready to leave him alone. Yelped as the Rainbow Girl as the cowgirl grabbed her by the tail. Come on, Rainbow. The Pegasus rolled her eyes. Oh, fine. You better take care of her now. You hear? Because if you don't, she waved her fist at the Draconequest before following Applejack. You do realize I'll inform Celestia and Luna about this, Twilight said as she passed the couple. Discord waved off. Yeah, just make sure they already know that I didn't put her under a spell. And hold on. You're really okay with this? Well, not really. We just want our friend to be happy. Although Rainbow is right. If you don't keep your word, you'll have her answer to us. Well, yeah, whatever. And when you do get married, Pinky chimed, be sure to invite us to the wedding. And let me make the dress, Rarity exclaimed. By the way, Twilight said, pausing at the doorway, thank you for saving our lives. We owe you a big debt of gratitude. Once the ponies were gone, the couple sighed. Now, where were we? Discord held up his finger. Oh, I remember. Fluttershy laughed as he dipped her to his side and welcomed him with another passionate kiss.